In today's session, I'm going to give you the line-by-line explanation of Macbeth Act 2, Scene 1. What is the setting of Act 2, Scene 1? Court of Macbeth's castle. The scene must be in the inner court of the castle, which Banquo might properly cross in his way to bed. Enter Banquo and Fleance. Who is Fleance? Fleance is Banquo's son and he is bearing a torch before him. He has a torch before him because it is night. This time it is past midnight. This time is significant in this scene. Prepare long answer questions. Dramatic significance of Act 2, Scene 1. We also have a soliloquy of Macbeth, Macbeth's hallucination, and then there is the very important Dagger episode. We can also call this scene the Dagger scene. Let us begin. Banquo. How goes the night, boy? What time of night is it, my son? Fleance. The moon is down. The moon has set, but I didn't hear the striking of the clock. I have not heard the clock. So I can't tell you the time. Banquo. And she goes down at 12. The moon sets at 12 o'clock, doesn't it? This is what Banquo asks Fleance. Now you must remember one thing. Watches and clocks were not common in those days, and it was usual to guess the time of the day from the position of the sun or the moon. And therefore Banquo says, but she goes down at 12. So it is past midnight. Fleance. I take it is later, sir. I suppose that it is later, sir. This time span is very important because in the opening lines of this scene, the mood of the spectator, the mood of the audience is prepared for the crime to be done. What is the crime to be done? We all know by now that the crime that is to be done is regicide. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth have plotted against King Duncan and they are going to kill King Duncan. So this time, it is past midnight. This time, so late at night, this time prepares the mood of the spectator for the crime to be committed. It is past midnight and the night is dark and starless and it is as black as Macbeth's heart. We also know that Macbeth is harboring evil ambition, evil intentions in his heart. Therefore, his heart is black and the night is as black as Macbeth's heart. Banquo. Hold, take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Here, Banquo is preparing to go to sleep. He gradually takes off his armor. And then he tells his son, here take my sword. There's husbandry in heaven. What is the meaning of husbandry? Thrift, economy. Their candles are all out. It seems that the sky is being economical in the use of light, for it has extinguished all the candles. Candles represent stars. So it is a starless night, a dark, starless night. Take thee that too. So take that also. He unties the belt. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me. A simile, a heavy summons. What is the meaning? A strong call to go to sleep. And he is so physically exhausted that he is feeling sleepy. And sleep, a strong call to go to sleep, weighs heavily on his eyes. He is very tired. He wants to go to sleep. Sleep hangs heavy on his eyelids, but he does not want to go to sleep. This is significant, and yet I would not sleep. And why is it so? After that, he is praying to merciful powers, to the orders of angels. Physically, Banquo is so tired that he can hardly resist the call to sleep, but mentally he is so restless that he cannot persuade himself to go to bed, and therefore he is praying to heavenly powers to restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Give me my soul. Merciful God, save me from the horrible dreams my heavy spirits cause me to have when I am asleep. The nightmares. Ko cannot help dreaming of the three weird sisters, so he prays to heavenly powers to check the wicked thoughts that visit him in his sleep and that he is unable to resist. What is the meaning of nature? Here we have nature, natural inclinations, and gives way, yields, in repose, while I am asleep, and give me my sword. Banquo asks for his sword because he hears some sound. Enter Macbeth. Who enters? Macbeth, a friend, and a servant with torch. Who's there? A friend. And then we will have a conversation between Macbeth and Banquo. What, sir? Not yet at rest? The king's abed. King Duncan is already asleep. Why, sir, haven't you yet gone to sleep? He hath been in unusual pleasure and sent forth great larges to your offices. He has been highly pleased with your welcome and hospitality, and he has sent handsome gifts for your household staff. Larges. What is the meaning of larges? Bounty. Gifts distributed on festive occasions. And offices? Servants' quarters. Banquo here is surprised to see Macbeth still stirring about, still moving about. He is also not sleeping. This diamond he greets your wife withal by the name of most kind hostess, important, and shut up in measureless content. Here, Banquo refers to the diamond which King Duncan has sent for Lady Macbeth. And why has he sent this diamond? As a token of gratitude, as a token of appreciation, as he has found Lady Macbeth the kindest hostess he has ever seen, he has ever met. So this is exaggeration, and here we have irony, dramatic irony. Lady Macbeth is actually plotting against Duncan, and once again Duncan has failed to read the mind of a person from his or her expressions. Remember the Thane of Cawdor? King Duncan had lamented, had expressed his regret for not recognizing the treacherous Thane of Cawdor. Here also King Duncan is so happy, so pleased that he is unable to judge the character of Lady Macbeth. He is very, very happy. He is ecstatic to enjoy the hospitality and grand welcome of Macbeth and Lady Macbeth at their castle. In measureless content. So, shut up till content, and shut up in measureless content. This can be interpreted variously. Number one, Duncan was wrapped in perfect satisfaction. This is one explanation. Number two, Duncan ended his day in perfect satisfaction. That is, he went to bed quite happy and contented at the reception given to him. And number three, he summed up all that he had to say in expressing his measureless content. Macbeth. Being unprepared. Here, Macbeth is so courteous. Here, he is pretending to be polite, humble. Being unprepared, R will become the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought. We were not actually prepared for this royal visit. We could not give King Duncan a fitting welcome in spite of our desire to do so. This is falsehood. This is treachery. He is deceiving. He is trying to deceive Banquo. In different circumstances, our desires would have been affected more generously. So here he is not speaking the truth. As we were unprepared, we could not fulfill our desire of giving a liberal hospitality to the king. Here he is giving a labored apology for the inadequate reception given to king. Our desire to offer great hospitality became the servant, and defect became the master, and inefficiency became the master. We would have done things differently. Banquo, all's well, everything is fine, no problem at all. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth, the partial fulfillment of the prophecies made by the three witches. Here is Banquo's confession. The previous night, I dreamt of the three weird sisters, and a part of their prediction has already come true in your case. You are the Thane of Glamis. You are also the Thane of Cawdor. So, partial fulfillment. I think not of them. Very important. And do check the workbook solutions. You will get detailed answers. I think not of them. Here there was a question, response of Macbeth when Banquo confesses to him about the dreams that he had seen the previous night. So this section will be your answer. Macbeth, I think not of them. So here there is the strain of exaggerated but obscure courtesy. Macbeth is telling Banquo that I no longer think of the witches and their prophecies. What do you think? Is he telling the truth? Again, falsehood by Macbeth. Macbeth has been transformed into a hardened criminal due to the goadings, due to the chastisement of Lady Macbeth. We have seen that in the previous scenes. The goadings of Lady Macbeth has made him so ruthless, so dishonest. And here he is saying, I think not of them. Really? He's not thinking about the weird sisters. Yet, when we can entreat an hour to serve, I have dismissed all thought of them from my mind, still yet is important. Whenever we have an hour or so to spare, we would spend it in some words about that business. What is the business here? The prophecies of the witches and the partial fulfillment of the prophecy. I would like to talk it over with you, if you please. Here Macbeth is presenting the case in such a way that it all depends on Banquo. If Banquo wishes to speak about the witches, he will do so whenever Banquo is free. So this section is significant. There is a strain of exaggerated but obscure courtesy over here. Macbeth is not telling the truth. He is just pretending. Now, the crown is within his grasp. He will soon kill King Duncan, and therefore he seems to adopt the royal we by anticipation. Just observe how he is using we again and again. So he thinks that he will soon become the King of Scotland. At your kindest leisure, whenever you like. Macbeth, if you shall cleave to my consent. What is the meaning of this? Macbeth is purposely ambiguous here. What he really means is, if you will support me, throw in your fortunes with mine, I will reward you handsomely. And he is trying to suggest treachery to Banquo. He's trying to read Banquo's mind. He's trying to assess Banquo's loyalty and see if Banquo is going to support him or not. When it is, it shall make honor for you. So if you support me, if you are on my side, if you abide by my advice, I will reward you. I'll give you great rewards. Now, so I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and allegiance clear. I shall be counselled. I shall be ready to listen to your advice provided I lose no honor in trying to make it greater and am able to keep my heart free from sin and my faithfulness clear. It seems that Banquo fears a treasonable proposal. Perhaps he realizes that this is a bait. Here Macbeth is suggesting treachery to him, and therefore he says that I shall be ready to be guided by your advice, provided I am not involved in anything which is immoral, which is morally not right. Macbeth, good repose the while, so go and have a sound sleep. In the meantime, thanks, sir, the like to you. You also go to sleep. I wish the same to you, and exit, Banquo and Fleance. Here we have a contrast between the two characters. What is emphasized in Act 2, Scene 1? The contrast in the characters of Macbeth and Banquo, particularly in respect of their reaction to the witch's prophecies. The guiltless man. Here we can assume that Banquo is the guiltless man. He confesses his dreams. He confesses to Macbeth that he is thinking about the witches. And the guilty man, Macbeth, denies further thought about the weird sisters. I do not think of them. So here we have irony. Here we have contrast. This is important. Highlight this in your answers. After this, Macbeth, go bid thy mistress when my drink is ready. She strike upon the bell. Get thee to bed. Go and tell your mistress, Lady Macbeth, to ring the bell when my drink is ready, and you yourself go to bed. And Macbeth is now alone on the stage. And here we have the very important Dagger episode and a soliloquy of Macbeth. Learn this section properly. Critical analysis of the soliloquy of Macbeth. Is this a dagger which I see before me? So the soliloquy starts with the description of a dagger which Macbeth sees before him. Is this a dagger which I see before me? And the handle of the dagger toward my hand, the dagger which Macbeth sees before him has its handle stretching towards the hands of Macbeth. Come, let me clutch thee. Let me catch hold of you. I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to feeling as to sight? There are questions here which shows that Macbeth is curious to know what is it all about. He cannot hold the dagger, yet he can see the dagger all the time. You, fatal dagger, aren't you perceptible by touch as well as sight? I'm seeing you, but I can hardly touch you. Are you only a false creation, a product of my overexcited brain? What is this? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a figment of my imagination, a false creation, a hallucination, proceeding from the heat-oppressed brain? And why is Macbeth's brain heat-oppressed brain? Because he is restless, he is nervous, and he is about to enter the bedchamber of King Duncan and commit regicide. Therefore, he is mentally disturbed. So, Macbeth has the vision of a dagger rising before his eyes. Now, some people believe that the dagger has a material appearance, while some suggest that it is a hallucination, it is an illusion caused by the disturbed mental state of Macbeth. Let's see now. I see thee yet, I can see you, in form as palpable as this which now I draw. The handle is towards Macbeth's hand as an invitation to him to grasp it and kill Duncan. The evil intentions of Macbeth are revealed over here. He is being tempted by the prophecies, by the partial fulfillment of the witches to go and commit regicide so he can become the King of Scotland. The complete fulfillment of the witches. So this is an invitation to grasp the dagger and kill Duncan, metaphorically, symbolically. He is not able to clutch the dagger and yet the vision persists. So are you not able of being grasped just as you are visible to the eye, sensible to, capable of being perceived by the senses? And what is the meaning of fatal vision? False creation. What is the meaning of a false creation? A phantom. And heat oppressed brain, write down fevered brain. Meaning of palpable now, that may be felt. Macbeth draws his own sword as he speaks these words. Macbeth sees no difference between the sword he draws and the sword that dangles before his eyes, the false creation. But as he stretches his arm to touch the dagger in the air, it seems to melt away into the air. The dagger seems to move towards the room where Duncan sleeps. Thou marshallest me, thou guide me towards the way that I was going. And he was indeed going to the bedchamber of King Duncan to commit regicide. So this is a climactic moment. And such an instrument I was to use. You guide me along the way I was going, and it is exactly such a dagger that I was to use to kill King Duncan. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else worth all the rest. I see thee still, and on thy blade and dungeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. Either my eyes are deceived by the other senses, or all my other sources are wrong, and my eyes alone are trustworthy. You are still there before my eyes, but now I see drops of blood on your blade, which was at first not there. Therefore, the dagger must be an illusion. This is his interpretation. There is no such thing. It is the bloody business. It is perhaps the bloody business. Again, what is the bloody business? His decision to commit regicide. That is bloody business, which informs thus to mine eyes. It is only, the dagger must be an illusion, and it is only the bloody deed I propose to do that takes the shape of the dagger before my eyes, and therefore I am hallucinating. My eyes are ridiculed by my other senses. My eyes tell that the dagger is real, but my other senses, touch, smell, and then other senses tell me that it is not real. If my eyes are wrong, they deserve to be ridiculed by my other senses. But if my eyes are right, they are naturally worth the rest of my senses. So here there is a conflict between the senses. And this conflict between the senses is mentioned several times in the course of the play. Dungeon. What is the meaning of dungeon? Blade. And gouts, thick drops of blood. The dagger was not blood-stained before, but now there are drops of blood on its blade. Hence, the dagger cannot be real. And according to Macbeth, it is his murderous designs which create this vision before his eyes. And this also reveals the vivid and fertile imagination of Macbeth. He has a vivid imaginative faculty. He is hallucinating over here. Now, over the one half world, nature seems dead. What is the meaning of this? One half of the world is now asleep, and they are like dead people. They are so soundly asleep that they appear to be dead. They appear to be in deep sleep, and wicked dreams abuse the curtained sleep. And during this time, people are asleep and they dream. They have dreams. Dreams beguile the men lying asleep in their curtained beds. Witchcraft celebrates pale Hecate's offerings and withered murder, alarmed by his sentinel, the wolf, whose howls his watch thus with his stealthy pace. There is allusion over here. Let us analyze this section slowly. One half of the world is now asleep, and foul dreams beguile the men lying asleep in their curtained beds. It is the time when witches worship, witchcraft celebrates. It is the time when witches worship their queen Hecate and make offerings to her. Now, who is Hecate? Pale Hecate's offerings. Rituals in ceremonies dedicated to Hecate, goddess of witchcraft. Wicked dreams deceive the privacy of sleep. Sleep is said to be curtained because beds used to stand in large rooms with curtains drawn round them for privacy. And witchcraft celebrates, witches celebrates. What is the meaning of withered murder? Gaunt murder. Murder is being personified over here. It is the time when ghost-like murderer, awakened by the cry of the wolf, acts as his watch, stealthily moves towards his victim with muffled steps, as I am doing now. So he is also moving towards the bedchamber of King Duncan stealthily. With Tarquin's ravishing strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. Now, with swift silent steps such as Tarquin made, Tarquin was the son of the Roman king Tarquinius Superbus. In the darkness of the night, he ravished beautiful Lucrece, his hostess and the wife of his friend Collatinus. This story is the subject of Shakespeare's poem The Rape of Lucrece. Towards his design, towards what he plans to do. This is the time of night when witches perform rites to appease Hecate, and the pale murderer, alarmed by the cry of the wolf, stealthily moves on to carry out his plan with the stealthy steps of Tarquin. And here, Macbeth is also moving stealthily towards the bedchamber of King Duncan. Thou sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps. He is requesting earth not to proclaim that he is moving towards the bedchamber of King Duncan. Hear not my steps, which way they walk, and he is walking towards the bedchamber of King Duncan for fear the very stones. Why is he so scared? Why is he walking so stealthily with muffled footsteps? Because the very stones prate of my whereabout and take the present horror from the time which now suits with it. This section again is important. Let not the safe and firmly set earth hear my footsteps, or know which way I walk, lest the very stones will proclaim my presence and force me to put off this horrible deed. So if I am discovered in this state right now with a dagger, people will come to know that I have some evil intentions and I will not be able to execute my plan. I will not be able to murder King Duncan. And this time is so well suited when all are asleep as if they were dead. King Duncan is also at my castle. So I do not have time to waste. Whilst I threat, he lives. While I waste my time in idle threats, Duncan continues to be alive, and as long as Duncan is alive, I am not the King of Scotland. So he must die as soon as possible. Words to the heat of deeds too cold breath gives. I go and it is done. The bell invites me. Duncan continues to be alive. Words can have a damping effect on the heat of the action one wishes to perform. I may be deviated from my purpose because of these words. So I must not waste any time in speaking to myself even. Hear it not, Duncan, for it is a knell. What is the meaning of knell? Death bell. So I am coming and you are about to hear a death knell, a death bell. That means you are going to die. That summons thee to heaven or to hell. So here the bell is likened to knell, death bell. If one only talks about a deed, one's enthusiasm for it often cools down. Therefore, let me not waste my time and let me go and end King Duncan's life. So, this section, this soliloquy is important because of the hallucination of Macbeth. The purpose of this hallucination is to create the proper atmosphere for the murder that will be done outside the stage. So there is tension all around. The audience, the spectators are waiting eagerly for the crime to be committed, whether Macbeth is going to be successful in committing regicide. And it also helps to key the mind of the audience to the heated fancy. So audience is also excited, Macbeth is also excited, there is tension, and the scene ends.